What if I told you the greatest peak in NBA history belongs to a 6'11 Serbian center who looks like he ate a point guard for breakfast? Not Jordan, not LeBron, not Kareem, Nikola Jokic. And by the time this video is over, you won't be able to argue with me. We need to talk about what peak actually means, because the argument lives and dies on that definition. Peak isn't longevity, that's LeBron's argument. Peak isn't rings, that's Jordan's argument. Peak is a specific window of time where a player was performing at a level so far beyond his competition that the gap was almost unfair. And from 2020 to today, that window belongs entirely to Nikola Jokic. Here's what we're looking at. 3 MVPs, 1 Finals MVP, 1 championship, and statistical seasons that have never, not once in 78 years of NBA history, been produced by any other player on Earth. Let's start with the raw numbers, because they're genuinely disorienting. In the 2021-2022 season, Jokic averaged 26.4 points, 13.8 rebounds, and 7.9 assists per game, becoming the first player in NBA history to ever average 25, 10, and 8 over a full season. That's not impressive. That's unreachable. No player before him had even come close. Then there's win shares. In his 3 MVP seasons combined, Jokic generated win shares at a rate that equals or surpasses Michael Jordan's peak Bull years. Box plus minus, Jokic had put up numbers in the plus 12 range, territory so rare it had barely been touched before he arrived. And box score efficiency isn't even his best argument. His playmaking is a center, leading a franchise in assists, making passes that guards can't make, reading defenses that would take a point guard years to learn. Oscar Robertson had the first triple-double season. Magic Johnson revolutionized big man playmaking, but neither of them were doing it as a center. Against modern NBA switching schemes, while being the primary scorer and rebounder on their team. Jokic is playing a position that has never produced this kind of statistical profile. He's not just the best player, he's a category that didn't exist before him. Let's talk about the MVP votes, because they mattered beyond the hardware. In 2020-2021, Jokic won his first MVP unanimously, after being 5th on some of the ballots this year before. The league just woke up to what he was doing. In 2021-2022, he won again, back-to-back, and this time with arguably the best statistical season any non-Jordan player had put up together since the merger. In 2023-2024, he won his 3rd, and now we're in rare air. 3 MVPs puts you in a club with Bill Russell, Wilt Chamberlain, Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, Moses Malone, LeBron James, and Michael Jordan. But here's what makes Jokic different from many of those names. His MVP seasons weren't carried by dominant supporting casts. Jamal Murray missed most of 2021. MPJ was inconsistent. The Nuggets won because Jokic was so good that the opposing team's entire defense scheme had to collapse around stopping him, and he found a way anyways. The one knock on Jokic before 2023 was rings. Fair or not, that's the currency in GOAT conversations. Then Denver went on the most dominant playoff run in recent memory. Jokic averaged 30.2 points, 14 rebounds, and 7.2 assists in the 2023 NBA Finals against Jimmy Butler and the Miami Heat. He was otherworldly. He won Finals MVP, and he did it the exact same way he does everything. Quietly, efficiently, with the passes that make you ask, did I actually just see that? The ring changed the conversation, not because rings are everything, but because they silenced the one counter-argument people had left. You guys may ask, but what about Jordan? I can already hear you guys screaming through your screen. Jordan won 6 rings, 63 points in Birds Celtics, the flu game. Respect, infinite respect. But here's the thing, this isn't about who you'd rather have. This isn't about who had the better career. This is about who was the most dominant during their peak. Jordan's best statistical seasons are remarkable, but they were the product of an elite athlete playing a position designed for scoring dominance. Guard score, that's basketball. Jordan was the best version of a role that the game already understood. Jokic is doing something the game doesn't even have a template for. He's a center with a point guard's vision, a stretch four shooting, an interior scorer's footwork, and a rebounder's instincts. all at 7 feet tall, all at the same time, all against defenses specifically designed to take it away from him. And his per 36 efficiency during his peak years, it's higher than Jordan's. Let me repeat that. Adjusted for minutes, the Joker is more efficient. Now, even more of you may ask, what about LeBron's peak? LeBron's 2012-2013 Heat season is their traditional answer. 56.5 true shooting percentage, 10 assists, Defensive Player of the Year conversation, and a title. That's the peak people point to. But here's the honest comparison. LeBron's peak is wide. It's sustained excellence over 20 years. That's a different argument. That's the GOAT argument, and LeBron has a real case for it. Peak Jokic is vertical. It's a spike. A ceiling so high in that specific years, he was at his best. The gap between him and the second best player in the NBA was larger than any gap we've seen since prime Jordan era. LeBron's peak is a mountain range. Jokic's peak is Everest, for a specific 5-year window. Why don't we talk about him like this? Here's the part nobody wants to say out loud. Jokic doesn't look like an NBA superstar. He looks like your friend's dad who watches games from the couch. He doesn't dunk, he doesn't talk trash, he doesn't post highlight reels on Instagram. He goes home to Serbia in the offseason to race horses. The NBA is a league built on marketing, on story arcs, on moments that look good on a poster. Jokic doesn't give us that. He gives us a bounce pass off the backboard to a cutter no one else saw. He gives us a 36-point triple-double where he looked bored the whole time. We have been trained to reward performance that looks dominant over performances that is actually dominant. That may not make sense, but think about it. And that cultural bias has consistently caused us to underrate the most statistically dominant player of his generation. 3 MVPs, 1 championship, finals MVP, multiple seasons that have never been replicated, statistical performances that break historical model for his position. If you watched Nikola Jokic from 2020 to today and had never seen him before, if you just looked at the numbers, you would say, without hesitation, this is the most dominant player alive, possibly the most dominant player who ever lived during this specific window. The greatest peak in NBA history doesn't always go to the player with the best sneaker deal or the best crossover. Sometimes it goes to a 6'11" Serbian kid from Sombor who just loves the game more than anyone else on the floor. Nikola Jokic, the greatest peak, bar none. If you made it this far to the end of the video and you're still not convinced, drop your counter argument in the comments. I'll read every single one. Like and subscribe if you think the Joker deserves his flowers. And if your favorite player didn't make this list, don't worry, we're coming for every GOAT argument soon. See you next time.